What's up, World of Tankers? Welcome back to my channel. This is Top Gun-Blitz, and today I'm going to be reviewing the T92E1. So let's get this started. This tank is a Tier 9 American light tank, and I think this light tank is one of the best light tanks in Tier 9. Let's go ahead and go over some of the stats of this tank. This tank has 1560 hit points. And this tank has a 274.5 meter view range. And the concealment while stationary is 54%, while moving 47%, and upon firing while stationary 12%. And this tank has a damage per minute of 1953 and a 17.20 reload time. That's a little bit long, I got to admit. But the penetration and average damage makes up for that. The penetration on this tank is 220 on APCR, 350 on heat, and 97 on HE. The average damage is 560 on APCR, 490 on heat, and 660 on HE. The top speed of this tank is 65 forward, 22 in reverse, and average speed of 42 kilometers, which is pretty mobile. Now the armor on this tank is pretty much non-existent. As you can see, anything can penetrate it, especially with a good HE gun, so you got to be very careful in this tank where you put yourself into. And don't expect to get many bounces with this tank. The front of the hull and the front of the turret are 40 millimeters, and the sides is 35 and the rear is 15. And here is the first game in Middleburg, and I'm platooning with one of my clanmates. You usually want to always go med side on Middleburg to the hills, unless the whole enemy team has heavies. I'm gonna go ahead and push up this right side to try and spot the enemy and see if I can get a free shot out. But unfortunately we couldn't get our gun depression down fast enough, but we were able to spot some of their mediums. I'm going to see if I can get a free shot into one of these mediums, but unfortunately, my teammate backs up into my shell. I should have paid more attention to where my teammate was backing up to. Now we backed up into cover and wait for that long reload. At this point, I see that their meds are not going to poke, so I'm going to go ahead and push around. And I made a very big mistake here, because I didn't know that their heavies were in this corner. I have no idea how they didn't get spotted before, but we were able to get away with crossing and getting behind cover right away. And we did get a nice shell into that Vickers. I see that one of my teammates pushed up, so I'm gonna go ahead and help him out with these enemy tanks. And we get a nice clearing shot into that Eric concept. And we're gonna go ahead and hide behind cover again and wait for that long reload. I'm going to try and see if I can get a shot into this Vickers, but unfortunately he was behind cover. So I'm going to go ahead and push up with my team and get a nice shell into that Carl for 537 HP. And we're going to back up into cover and reload. And we're going to peek this corner and see if we can get a shot out on this enemy. And we get a nice juicer max roll into this WZ. This tank just hits very hard. I love this gun. Even though this gun does have a long reload, the reload is worth it for what the alpha is. And we are going to pull out and see if we can clear this Caro out. Unfortunately, we low roll that shot. We are going to go ahead and wait behind cover for our reload. And I see this AMX is trying to chase us down. And we get a nice 480 roll into him, and we bounce a shot from him, which is crazy because that usually doesn't happen. Let's see if we can reload fast enough to clear this AMX out. Unfortunately, our mouse clears him for us. But we do get a victory, dealing around 3,300 damage and the class 1. And we also get top of the team. And this shows just how hard this light tank hits. And I did play a little aggressive, especially at the end of that game, but we did get away with it because there was cover and our team supported us. And here is the second game in a T92. And in this game, you will see just how good this gun's penetration is. And I'm gonna go ahead and spot hill for the team, just in case if one of the enemy tanks is going to cross. And I'm telling my team not to cross because they have 2 T92E1s and they can definitely nuke you very quick. But it looks like our prog doesn't listen and he goes ahead and crosses the hill. And look how fast he dies, it's just crazy. He didn't listen to my advice at all, and he definitely paid for it. It's just sometimes unfortunate to have these type of teammates who get destroyed in the first 30 seconds of the game, or even less. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can get a shot out and use our gun depression. And yes, we are able to get a nice 580 shot into that Carl. And I go ahead and back up because I do not want to get nuked by their TD or the T92E1s. At this point, I see that my team needs help in city, and my teammate is there too, so I'm gonna go ahead and help clear these heavies out really quick. And you can see that nice penetration, but unfortunately we do get nuked by that E100. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit behind cover and reload. And I peek here because I know that E100 probably has a longer reload time than me. And plus he wasn't poking to be able to shoot at me. And I see this concept just pull out and show his side. So I go ahead and get a nice shot into him. And to be honest, I have no idea what this concept was doing. He just went ahead and just YOLO'd that E100. And that definitely didn't work out for him because we go ahead and farm him out. You never want to YOLO out like that because that's exactly what happens. First our prog and then the enemy's concept. Just 2 great examples of what happens when you do that. And I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can get a shell into this E100. And yes, we are able to get a nice shell into him with our excellent penetration. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and push up very carefully because I see that both my teammate and the E100 are pushing up. And I spot this Carl to my side and I go ahead and clear him out. Just a good example of being aware of your surroundings. Instead of focusing on the E100, I went ahead and focused on the Carl instead. If I wasn't aware of my surroundings, I would have never seen that Carl and he would have farmed me out and probably destroyed me. And at this point, we're gonna go ahead and push around and see if we can spot any of the enemy TDs or if we can get a shot into this heavy, which we do. And we go ahead and back up back into cover because that's what you always want to do, especially in a lightly armored tank. We are going to go ahead and see if we can clear out the 60 TP because that's a priority right now because that gun can hit really hard. And our team was able to clear him out. I'm going to push up and see if I can get any shells out into this 4005. And I see that he just activated his speed reload boost, so I do not want to get nuked by him, so I play it very passive here. And I'm considering if I should move forward and peek him or not. And we go ahead and get a nice shell into him, and we back up right away. And I guess he didn't have his shells reloaded yet, so that's a good thing. And at this point, he does have his shells reloaded, and I'm hoping that I can reload before he puts all his shells out. And yes, we were able to amazingly clear him out before he got that last shell out. And we get a nice victory with almost 4.4 thousand damage. And we get a nice mastery. I definitely recommend this tank if you like light tanks and if you like a gun that hits really hard. And that is it for the review, guys. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more content like this. Peace.